I want to talk about the first move in solving any problem that actually matters. Not the clever move, not the strategic move, the first move. Whether it's your marriage, your money, your career, or the quiet crisis you don't know how to name yet, the hardest part is always the same. You have to tell the truth about where you are. That sounds easy until you try it. When people hit a wall and come to you for help, they almost never arrive with clear facts. They arrive with emotion. They arrive with a flood of frustration, fear, anger, regret, and half-formed explanations. They are not lying to you. They are just trying to breathe in the middle of the storm. If all they want is comfort, you listen, you sit with them, you let them be human. But if they want guidance, something has to change. Your role becomes helping them step out of the flood long enough to see the ground. Picture a friend coming to you after a brutal fight with their spouse. They are shaking. They are certain they are right. They are certain the other person is the problem. In that state, what advice could you possibly give that would land? You can't fix what you can't see. You can't move someone forward while they are still trapped inside their story. So before you talk about solutions, you ask 3 questions. They are simple and they are hard. Where are you right now? Where are you trying to go? What step actually moves you from here to there? The first question is the hinge, because where you are is almost never what people think it is. In a relationship, where we are could mean mild irritation over daily habits. It could mean years of quiet resentment. It could mean betrayal. It could mean 2 people who love each other but are exhausted, and confusing fatigue for incompatibility. Those are very different realities. They require different aims, different boundaries, different next steps. Until you know the real present, you are not advising a life. You're advising a guess. This gets even trickier inside businesses. I've worked with companies at every scale. 5-person shops, global giants. Every one of them struggles with the same thing, separating what feels true from what is true. Leaders debate whether teams are overworked or unaligned, whether a product line is underperforming because it needs investment or because it never had real potential, whether capital is being deployed wisely or scattered across internal politics and wishful thinking. And even when you try to use data, the fog doesn't automatically lift. Incentives distort what people report. Benchmarks distort what leaders expect. Tools track time, but they don't measure impact. The more complex the system, the easier it is to hide behind narratives. So where do you go when stories collide? You go to the one place that rarely lies. You follow the money. Cash doesn't care about your self-image. It doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care about your excuses. It just records the truth. Financial statements are not paperwork. They are mirrors. They show what's happening right now in a measurable way. What came in, what went out, what you own, what you owe, how much runway you really have. I learned that before I ever had a title. When I was 21, I was living out of my car. I was $10,000 in credit card debt. I still owed money on the car, so the real number was closer to $20,000 in the red. My mom had died when I was 15. I never met my father. There was no safety net coming. At 18, I started a recording studio. I thought I could brute force success with long hours. I worked 60+ hours a week for years, but the recession hit, cheap digital tools wiped out small studios everywhere, and I didn't know how to run a business. The studio collapsed. I collapsed with it. One night, parked behind a grocery store, I asked the question that scares people because it demands honesty. How did I get here? I couldn't answer it. My mind was just noise. If I blamed the world, I felt helpless. If I blamed myself, I felt worthless. Neither story helped. Neither story put gas in the tank. So I did the only thing I could do. I wrote down what I could prove. I pulled a busted notebook from the back seat, found a dying pen, and listed every dollar from that day. Cash from shift, gas, groceries, overdraft fee, ending balance, 0. That page hurt, but it did something else. It cleared the air. For the first time, I could see the pattern. I could see that I wasn't unlucky in a vague way. I had specific levers I could use to gain back control on my future. I could make more, spend less, or try to do both. Those were my options. I finally had a control panel instead of a fog bank. That notebook was my first financial statement. It wasn't sophisticated. It was honest, and honesty gave me a starting point. Later, I would learn the formal language for what I had stumbled into. Assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, expenses, profit. But the core truth was already there. Money follows laws that don't bend for ego. If more goes out than comes in, you eventually crash. If you build a consistent surplus, you build freedom. These laws are the great equalizer. They govern trillion-dollar companies, and they govern the next person you'll see. They governed me when I was homeless. That's why so many people stay stuck, and why so many small businesses die. Not because they lack heart or talent, but because they avoid the mirror. They don't want to see the real numbers. They don't want to know the truth of where they are. They'd rather live inside a fake narrative than face a painful fact. But every transformation I've ever seen started the same way. Someone chose to be honest on paper. And once the truth is visible, the next step almost always reveals itself. So wherever you are right now, stop asking the wrong questions first. Don't start with motivation. Don't start with strategy. Don't start with the fantasy version of your future. Start with the mirror. Where are you, really? Where are you trying to go, exactly? What step, based on reality, moves you closer? When you answer those with precision, life stops being a blur. Decisions stop being guesses. The fog lifts. You stop drifting, and you start moving. The truth can be brutal, it can be humbling, it can feel like loss, but it is also the beginning of freedom.